just look at the opportunity that libertarians fucking blew there. Like, when these things happen, we have to be the first ones out there. We have to be the ones with principles and with courage. And I got to be honest, man, like, this really didn't take that much courage. It just took basic principles. You know, sometimes people will talk about, like, you know, the courageous views that can get you in trouble. And, you know, I appreciate people who take a courageous stand when it's right. I think those are really, to be honest, the only stands that actually matter. I mean, if you're taking a stand with something that pretty much everyone else agrees with, then it's meaningless. You know, it's like, oh, cancer is bad, or we're against racism, or whatever, you know, something like that. It's like, okay, I mean, you might be right, and you might make yourself feel better. And, you know, perhaps there could be some value if that it's just assuring someone else that you're a good person, and then you hit them with a really controversial, unpleasant truth. But if that unpleasant truth never comes, then you're just virtue signaling, or at least wasting your time. What matters is when you'll say something that does take some courage and will get you some lumps. But truthfully speaking, right now, at least, you know, in 2020, doesn't even really take that much courage to say these things. I mean, like, yeah, I mean, sure, you're risking getting, like, kicked off Twitter or something like that, or you're risking getting called mean names. For some people, I do suppose you're risking losing your job. And I don't mean to downplay that. I mean, I know there are people who have been fired for saying politically incorrect things, or, you know, more specifically for challenging left-wing orthodoxies, even really mild things like saying all lives matter. That woman, right, who got fired, some regular lady got fired for posting that on Facebook, you know, and I'm not downplaying that. That's fucked up when people, you know, get their livelihoods taken away from them, or when you get kicked off Twitter or things like that. But really, if you put it in historical context of how risky saying something unpopular is, if you put it in historical context for how risky it really is to stand up against the dominant cultural narrative, it's nothing. It's nothing. I mean, it's nothing compared to, like, you know, being fucking, like, you know, crucified. Quite literally, in some situations, being lynched, being, you know, straight, like, you know, I'm just saying, in the past, there's been far more courageous people who have been willing to say, you know, really important things and suffer way worse consequences than what this calls for. But if libertarians aren't willing to take those lumps, if you're not willing to be like, well, I might get kicked off Twitter, or I might get called some names by some people online, like, if we don't have that amount of courage, then I genuinely think we should just give up and go away. There's no point in us if we're not willing to take some risky positions. And this one was so obvious. And also, on top of it all, it was good politics. It's not even just that it was the right thing to do. It was a good strategy. Like, couldn't you see right away that you're like, yeah, this probably is not going to be very popular the more it continues?